We'd like to welcome you back to our live travel shows. We're so excited. We haven't had these in person for a couple of years, so it's really nice to see all your smiling faces. Glad you could join us today, even though the weather is a little warmer out there. So we want to get started to tell you all about some of the upcoming tours that we have, both domestically and internationally, for the rest of this year and into 2023 and maybe a little bit into 2024. So we're going to get started with making some introductions. I want to introduce Rachel. She is our marketing manager, our techie person, our go-to for all the itineraries that you see, anything on Facebook posting, our website. She's just our...
You can blame me for any typos.
She was a miracle worker with all through the COVID years when we had to do our Zoom type travel shows and little travel talk presentations every week. So she's that behind the scenes gal that backs us up. And then most of you know me, Rhonda, the manager in the office here. I enjoy working with all these tour guides and planning these tours and getting to see all the fun photos and stuff as you are out on tour when the guides get back. So I want to go ahead and let everybody else introduce themselves, so I'm not talking up here for hours. So
Go ahead, Cal. And then you want to talk about Heather?
Oh, sorry. Okay, I got to brush up on this talking in front of people again. Sorry. We have gotten busy enough that we hired Heather Rude. She couldn't be here today, but she will help me on the individual travel side of things, which will help free up a little bit of my time to help more on the group side. So that is her picture up there. Her and I worked together back at AAA Travel when they had their office here in Fort Dodge. She's been in the business 30 years, and I'm going on 37.
Shows her age. And as most of you know, all your familiar faces out here, and again, like Rhonda said, it's so nice to see all of you guys back in person. Just, it makes it really cool. As most of you know, I'm Deb Harkness. I do the majority of the motor coach tours, and my husband Jim's back there, as everybody knows, and he always travels with me. So I've been doing this now for about 15 years, going on 16 years, I guess now, and still love it today as much as I did. I had, as some of you know, I had original plans. I was going to retire come this spring, and I just couldn't do it. So just I'm too much of a people person. So anyway, I told Rhonda, yeah, I'd come back, a little at a time. Well, if you look at my schedule up here, it's full time, but it's fine. It's good. I like it. So anyway, yep.
Ooh, I like the fuzzy. I'm Maria Schultz. I've met quite a few of you also, and you've traveled with me. Terry's in the back corner back here. The big guy with his foot up, even though we're experienced travelers, he dropped a suitcase wheel on his foot. You didn't even know that, Shelley, when we were doing it on the trip last week. And suitcases at 30-some pounds don't do good for toes. So he is taking care of a broken toe for a little while. So he's not moving very well with us. Terry and I do predominantly your international and your cruises and tours, although I do a couple of domestic motor coaches a year. For those of you that know, Rhonda and I have known each other since way before she got married. I can tell you how long. And I started Heather out in the business in Des Moines over 30 years ago. So we've kind of had fun working together. And we have, since we're starting out, we took the first tour out last week. It went great. Our new slogan is "It is what it is," because we're learning new ways to travel and some things with people coming across some different things, but we got through it. And we have some fun things. Everybody's anxious to get going. So we've got some great things to tell you about today.
Hi, I'm Paula Templemeyer. I'm basically new to this. I was supposed to start right when COVID hit. So bunch of them that I was going to do didn't go anywhere. So I'll be doing some bus tours and some flying tours. And so looking forward to traveling with a lot of you and just glad to be able to travel.
I'm Suzanne Sawyer, and I'm from here in Fort Dodge. And I did do one trip for Deb to Branson with a group of people. And I'm like Paula, I'm a newbie, but I have a lot of experience personally traveling. So looking forward to meeting each and every one of you on future trips.
Okay, so we are very thankful that Paula and Suzanne have joined us. It was unfortunate that at the timing of it, that the COVID had to hit, but we're gonna try and get them ramped up with more tours. So you'll see their faces on more of our itineraries as well. This next slide up, we just like to mention that any of the itineraries that you look at, there's some symbols on there that have some meaning behind them. Most of the tours on this end of our display are motor coach tours from our pickup points in Iowa and return. And then towards the other end of the display are more of the international and cruising. And we do put the little airplane icon on the itinerary, so you'll definitely know if that tour involves flights. And then also the passport icon for those that will involve or that require you to have a passport to travel. And then of course, you know, any of the COVID vaccinations and all that sort of stuff. We always keep you informed and up to date with what the latest requirements are out there. So.
Oops, that's you.
Okay, we decided to start with our Alaska tour on our first trip to talk about. It does leave next month. I'll be going along with the group. We have 25 booked to go, and most of them were booked to go 2 years ago. So they're very excited to finally be able to get up to the Great Land. But we do an Alaska land and sea journey every year in June. And our favorite itinerary is like the 8-day land followed with the 4-day cruise. I had a tour guide that worked for us for 25 years, and she'd been to Alaska several times. And this was her favorite itinerary out of all the ones that she took. So we've kind of held on to that because of the information she gave us and told us it would be if you were to only go one time to Alaska, this itinerary would give you the most benefit for what you could see. So, and we have already blocked our dates for 2023 for the tour. It's June 6th to the 17th next year. We don't have the pricing complete just yet. We're waiting on a few more details. But if you're interested, be sure and let us know, because we will also have like an Alaska show in the fall to talk more in detail about that.
Okay, the first one up here is Footloose in Minnesota. And this one, fortunately for us, unfortunately for you, excuse me, is sold out, or it's on a wait list only. But we're gonna go up and see the production at Chanhassen Footloose. We're gonna do a lunch and Riverboat Cruise at Stillwater, go over to Wabasha and do the National Eagle Center. And so an orphanage museum in Owatonna, which is a fantastic place to visit. So anyway, that's the Footloose one. But that is temporarily sold out. You can get on the wait list if you'd like. Rhonda.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, and then, and this one I've got is, some of you know, I've got this little Happy Trippers group that some of my folks that travel with me real regularly have thrown in some ideas on what they'd like to do and see. And this is one of the things that they came up with. They said, hey, let's just do something close to home. You know, we don't have to travel a long ways. And so these are a couple trips that I put together that for those of you that maybe have mobility issues, or you know, just don't like to be gone a long time, don't like to travel on a bus for a long distance, these work out real well. So I'm doing the North Tour, June 20th to the 22nd. Both of these still have availability. And on the north tour, we're gonna go over to Surf Ballroom in Clear Lake, have a tour there. An unusual place we're gonna stop is at the National Hobo Museum in Britt. That for years was the main hobo capital of the world, of the United States. We're gonna go up to Jim's and my home territory up there in Decorah, and we're gonna do a lot of fun things up there. We're gonna go over to Spillville and see the Beaver Clocks. We'll come back down through Dyersville and do the Basilica and Sullivan Brothers, so on and so forth. And then we're gonna stay at the Grand Harbor Resort that one night that we're out. We're out 2 nights with the one night. And then the South Tour, that's gonna be right back to back with the next one. The North Tour will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The South Tour will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And some of you folks, I don't know if anybody here, but some folks have chosen to do both of them. So then there won't have to be any going home. We'll just get on the bus and go the next day. And so the South Tour, we're gonna do, go down to Bridges in Madison County. We're gonna do the Boone Scenic Train. We're gonna one night do a Celebration Belt evening dinner cruise over in the Quad Cities area. Matchstick Marvel Museum, which is a really unique place. Go over to the Amanas and have lunch, and go down to Des Moines Botanical Gardens. So just a little bit of everything. And again, that's a 3-day tour too. And both of these do have availability. And if you would by chance book both of them, then we're going to start out from Fort Dodge here on both of them. So we'll bring you back to Fort Dodge. We'll stay overnight in a hotel, here in Fort Dodge, and then we'll take off the next morning again.
Set myself up here. First of our international is going to be Canadian Rockies. Canada's a good place to start if you've been thinking about wanting to go someplace outside the U.S., but yet are just a little bit leery on what's going to happen with some of the restrictions and things. Canada's a good place to start. Love the Canadian Rockies. They're so much more majestic than our U.S. Rockies that you see out in Colorado and things. So you get some great peaks on it. We're going to be flying on this one. So you do have to have a valid passport, valid for 6 months. And just those of you with passports, keep that in mind. Everybody has gone to 6 months from the day that you return on your passports. So be sure that time-wise you've got those done. We're going to fly in and out of Calgary. We're going to do Edmonton for the mall. We'll do Jasper. We'll do Banff, which is a fun city. You never know if you're going to see a moose at night wandering around Banff. We're going to cruise on Mangalore Lake. We'll come down the Icefields Parkway and have a chance to ride a snow coach on the Athabasca Glacier. I don't even come to the middle of the tires on these snow coaches. They're really fun and neat to ride on the Athabasca Glacier. They also have a new skywalk that goes out over the glacier that you can do with a walk on that. Then we will stop at Chateau Lake Louise, do a gondola ride, and back home out of Calgary. That's July 28th, Canadian Rockies.
Then this one's another one that's back. This is another one that's brought back by popular demand. The Amish Backroads Tour. We're going out to Indiana, and we're going to do 4 nights lodging at the Essen House Inn there in Middlebury, and Jim and I have stayed in obviously oodles and oodles and oodles of hotels across the country over the years. And this by far is my favorite hotel to stay in. And for those of you that have been out there, you understand why. It's not that it's super, super, super fancy, but it's just very Amish. They have beautiful quilts hanging on the walls. All the furniture in every room is all Amish made. So it's just a really cool place. But anyway, we're going to go out and just do a lot of country road, back roads tour stuff. We're going to go to a buggy maker. And this year, I promise, for those of you that went with me went with Jim and I last year. Jim and I came home with a buggy last year, a horse buggy. We're not going to do that this year. Anyway, and then we're going to visit the Amish Bakery. We're going to go to Shipshewana and they got a huge flea market there through the summer. We're going to go out and go over and do the Blue Gate Dinner Theater in Shipshewana. They always put on a fantastic show there. Beautiful quilt gardens out in the area. So, yeah, just a lot of fun stuff. And again, this one still has availability, but we're getting down. I have about 6 open spots on this. So, while I'm talking about this too, I was just going to briefly say that if you folks are thinking on any of these, of my bus tours, there's quite a few of these that are nearing full. So, and we've got another travel show Monday in Waterloo. So I want you to think about it, obviously, but if you're thinking more to the positive side of doing it, please let us know, because I don't want you to call a week from now and say, I'd like to sign up, and say, sorry, it's full. Yeah, and that's a reason too why, and when I say full, I'm not talking 40 to 45 people. I'm talking basically 30 is about our cutoff, 25 to 30. And the reason we're doing that is for two different reasons. Number one, obviously COVID, so that we still got some space. Excuse me. And number two is that right now, and I don't foresee this getting any better anytime in the near future, is that staffing. I mean, everybody's low on, nobody has employees. Everybody's shorthanded no matter where you go, and especially restaurants. And you try calling a restaurant, and if I say, I've got 35 people that I'd like to bring in, before I hardly get them words out, the other person on the other end is saying, I'm sorry, we'd like to be able to help you, but we just can't handle that many people because we don't have that much staff. So we're deliberately trying to keep it back to 25 to 30. They're usually pretty open on that, but that's the big reasons that we're still holding back. So that's the reason you need to sign up early for these. Okay, and this one, speaking about that, Trains Colorado. This one right here is the first one, August 20th to the 27th. This one is sold out, but it's sold out super fast. And here lately, it's really sold out fast. Rhonda and I talked about 10 days ago, 10 days ago, and she said, do you realize I have 12 people on the wait list for Trains Colorado? I said, in other words, enough to make another one go. And she said, yeah. And I said, okay, let's try and get it. So I'll tell you about that one in a minute. I got another September one identical to this one. So we'll just skip through this one and I'll talk about the other one. And then every year I always do the Mackinac Island in one form or another. And this year, it's basically a repeat of last year. Next year, I'll talk about what I'm going to do next year. But I try and do different routing if at all possible, getting to Mackinac. I always like to spend a couple days on Mackinac. For those of you that have been there before, I have several repeat people all the time. But this one, we'll spend 2 days on the island. While there, we'll do a carriage tour. And then before we get there, up in the Mackinac area, we'll do the pictured rock cruise, which is beautiful, beautiful rocks. We'll go over to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, not Canada, Michigan. And we'll do the Sioux Locks boat tour. We're going to travel along the beautiful North Shore, the Upper Peninsula, go out and do a really fun sand dunes buggy. And that's what that picture is of the group last year. And quite a few of you, or some of you were on that picture. We went and did a sand dunes buggy trip, and that was so much fun. And then when we come back, we'll get on in Ludington, Michigan on the USS Badger, go across Lake Michigan, end up in Manitowoc, Wisconsin on the SS Badger car ferry, and then come home from there. So a really good trip. Then this is the second one I put in, this Trains of Colorado. So this one will be September 17th to the 24th. This one's identical to the first one. We're going to do quite a few trains. We're going to do the Royal Gorge train ride and then visit Royal Gorge Park. We're going to do the Cripple Creek train ride, where you will go back into some old gold mining area. We're going to do the Cog Railway up to Pikes Peak, 14,000 feet up to the top of Pikes Peak. We're going to do that. We're going to go and do the Flying W Ranch, which they've just reopened here within the last few months. They burnt to the ground here a few years ago and got flooded, and just a bad situation for them. But they're back up and going now. We're going to visit the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Museum. And I stuck that in there just as of a few weeks ago. I originally was going to do the chapel, the Air Force Academy Chapel. But they are, as of a while back here, are undergoing a major reconstruction of the whole chapel. It's all boxed in, as they refer to as a cocoon. And if you look online at it, you'll see it's just in a big box. Multi-million-dollar project, and they're saying that they won't even have it done until the year 2027. So it's obviously a big project. And then we're going to go out to the Garden of the Gods and see the beautiful red rocks out there. So this is going to be a super good trip. Again, this one considering we just started selling it, whatever, a week, 10 days ago, due to the carryover, for those folks that are now gonna get to go that were on the wait list, we've got like 14 or something like that on this one already. So, it's filling up fast too.
October 9/21, we're headed to Texas. I don't know how many of you seen the video we've got out on our website. Did you know there's over 300 songs that have been done about Texas? Rachel and I had kind of fun with that, trying to guess how many songs had the word Texas or were about Texas. But fun state. It's a neat place to go. It's a great way to get out of Iowa and stay a little bit warmer yet for that early fall before you have to start raking leaves on Texas. We're going to stop in Hugo, Oklahoma for Circus City and see the Circus Cemetery there, the George Bush Presidential Library. We're going to spend 3 days on Padre Island. So we're going to do a couple of cruises out of there, the Sea Turtle Rehab Center, which is extremely interesting down there. We'll stop in Harlingen for the Iwo Jima Museum and Memorial. San Antone 3 nights, a city that we like. Terry and I meander around San Antone every once in a while. So we'll do the river walk and the cruise. We'll have a guided tour of the Alamo site. We're going to do a step-on guide for the missions. The 5 missions there are all different places to go. They're closer together than you think they are, but each one is very individual with the guide there for the missions. Market Square is fun for a little bit of shopping and just some getting the feel down there. We'll do, on the way home, we're going to do Waco, Texas for Magnolia Silos, Chip and Joanna Gaines to stop there. We're going to do a step-on guide for a city tour, the Fort Worth Stockyards and the Speedway, coming back through there, and then coming through again. You can't go down that way without a stop at Oklahoma City for the memorial down there to see the sheriffs and get the feel of what happened in Oklahoma City. So Texas Fun in the Sun is going to be a great trip in the fall, a good way to get out of Iowa.
And when you go on the Riverwalk, the hotel's right on the Riverwalk too. Okay, and this is another one, the Door County. I've only got about a half a dozen seats left on this one. So this is one of those, you don't have time to wait and think about it. It's been filling up real fast lately. Going to be another fun trip, October 9th to the 14th, 6 days. We're going to do some fun things. We're going up to Green Bay and going to stop at the Lambeau Field, have a tour there. Then we're going on up into Door County. We're going to spend 3 days in Door County. We'll have a step-on guide the entire time we're there. We'll be staying in the same hotel while we're there. While we're up there in Door County, we're going to do the Fish Creek Scenic Boat Cruise. We're going to do a fish boil, which you have to do when you go up there, and take in some of the lighthouses and just, a bunch of the beautiful, beautiful fun stuff up there. And this should be just about peak time for fall colors, up in there at this time of year. And then coming back home, we're going to come over through Warrens, Wisconsin, and we're going to stop and visit the cranberry bogs. I got a lady that lives just outside of Warrens that she does tours out there. She'll go out there. She'll take us right out to the bogs and tell you all about them. And then she's got a really nice canning place there that they do all the processing. I shouldn't say canning, processing, where they do all their own processing. And she'll tell you all about that. So that's going to be a really good tour as well. Again, October 9th to the 14th. And then before you know it, we're getting into November, getting into Branson. My usual Branson tour, the 7th to the 10th. This year, I always do Sight and Sound every year. This year, it's Miracle of Christmas. We're going to go and do the Dolly Parton Stampede one night. Clay Cooper, which is super popular there, we're going to do him. Presley's, which they've been around there forever. And then we're going to do the Grand Jubilee, which is a fast-paced, fun country show as well.
November 12th, we head over the water. It's going to be 28 days, November 12th to December 12th. I'm going to start with a couple questions. A couple of you have asked me about the international tours. Do they go? Do they not? As you know, with our motor coach tours, we need a minimum number for those to operate. Because Terry and I, you've heard me say, we do our bucket list. So these international tours go whether we have 2 people, 4 people, or 30 people. They will go, as some of you have asked me about it, with it. But this is one we've been waiting for. It's been about 5 years since I found the itinerary I wanted. Several of you went to the Western Med with me a few years ago. This is the Eastern Med. It's on the Island Princess. She was refurbished a couple years ago, so she's fairly small as far as cruise ships go. She's totally refurbished. Air is right out of Des Moines with it. We're going to do Des Moines. We're going to go into Rome. We'll do an Civitavecchia right behind the port next to it. Then we start out on the trip. Good way to see many of these countries that maybe you don't want to spend a lot of time in, but you want to be sure that you've marked it off your list and say that you've been there. So we'll do a stop in Athens. We'll do a stop for Olympia. We'll do quite a few of the different Greek isles when we're there. We'll stop in Kudasi, so you can go out to Ephesus and mark that off your list. We'll do 2 stops in Israel, one for Jerusalem, Bethlehem, one so you could go out to Nazareth, Galilee to see it. Cyprus, Sicily, Sardinia, Salerno, Italy. We will stop in Malaga, Spain. We will stop in Casablanca, Morocco to do Casablanca and Rabat. Then we will do Madeira, Portugal, and 6 days at sea coming back. Busy, relaxing time coming back across. This is what's called a repositioning cruise. It's one of those that a lot of times you can't even get space on because they're very few and far between. Rhonda was able to capture both inside and outside cabins for us at a phenomenal price early. A repositioning cruise is when they take their ships from the Mediterranean and bring them back over to the U.S. for the Alaska market. So they move just twice a year when they move the ships back and forth. So that's one reason that's kind of a check off on your bucket list again of a lot of things that you maybe are going to be able to do. But a good chance, as I said, to see those ports, unpack once you're coming back to the ship, then coming back, it'll be busy, depending on shore excursions you decide to do. And then you've got 6 days to relax, enjoy everything that ship has to offer as we go into Fort Lauderdale and fly home from Fort Lauderdale.
And then one I brought back, it's been 5-6 years since I've done this one. Christmas Around the World in Omaha. If anybody's familiar with Omaha, Omaha, Nebraska is a very, very ethnic community. They have many, many different ethnic groups that live there. And each Christmas, each year, all these different ethnic groups like to do their own, they all celebrate Christmas big time. So they put on a lot of special performances, a lot of special dining options that we'll have. And we do Germany and Ukraine, Russian, Greek, I'm trying to think of some others. Anyway, there's quite a few different ones that we do. We'll go out to Boys Town and let you tour around there. That's kind of cool. So anyway, you'll get a lot of firsthand experiences there from all these countries throughout the world. So it's a very unique tour. It's 4 days, and there is still space left on this one. There's still space left on my Branson as well.
Okay, this is a new one that Rhonda planned and I'm going to host, and I'm really looking forward to this one. It's from December 9th through the 13th, and we will fly from Des Moines to Boston, and we're going to see how the other half celebrates Christmas. We will be touring many different mansions out there. 2 of the Vanderbilt mansions, the Breakers for one, when they're all decorated for Christmas. I think we have tea or a lunch at different ones. What do we see? The Marble House, the Elms, bunch of different ones out there. We'll do the Newport Vineyard, travel there, see how they make the wine. I'm sure we'll get to sample some. So we're 2 days in Newport doing those, and then we'll bus back to Boston, and we will do the tour of Boston. It's called the Stocking Stuffer Tour. We get a stocking, and we go to all these fabulous houses, and we get items for our Christmas stocking, and these houses are all decorated, the mansions of Boston, decorated for Christmas, and get little things to put in our stockings. We'll stop at Cheers for a gingerbread lunch, and we get to make and decorate a gingerbread house. And to top it all off, we will be going to the Boston Pops Christmas concert, which is on my bucket list forever. So I'm really looking forward to this one. It's a quick 5-day tour. Basically, all the meals are included. Well, depending on what the airplane gives us, but you know how that goes. But it's a quick one. We fly out and fly back, but breakfast, lunch, and dinner when we're in Newport and Boston is all provided on this one. So a fun, quick Christmas trip. So I'll put that on your Christmas list. Love to see you.
Then we go ahead and get into next year. I've got all of my tours for this year are all planned. They're all out here on the information sheets. So after this is over, come up and grab anything you like. And I also have this one planned and ready to go. This is going to be a Florida R&R small group vacation. We're going to be 8 days down in Florida. We're going to fly to Florida. I don't do very many fly trips, but this is one I'm going to fly. We're going to fly to Florida, and there will just be about a group of probably 11 to 12 of us that we've got reservations for. I wanted to keep it this small because what we're going to do once we get out there is that we are going to stay we're going to fly into Orlando, nonstop from Minneapolis to Orlando. We'll have everybody come here to Fort Dodge. We'll meet up here in Fort Dodge. Excuse me. We'll bus you up or take a van, whatever, up to the cities. We'll stay overnight in Minneapolis, and then the next morning we've got reservations to fly out nonstop to Orlando. We will then rent what they call a sprinter van, 15-passenger sprinter van. And my Jim back there is going to be our driver. He gets to go back to driving again. He's going to be our driver for the next 8 days. And anyway, then we will hub and spoke out of Daytona Beach. Our hotel there is right on the waterfront. It's a beachfront hotel. We've stayed there numerous times before. They've got a nice little balcony. Each room has got your own nice little private balcony. There's a little little kitchenette in each one of your rooms, so we don't have to eat every meal out. And it's just going to be a laid-back thing. I am planning to do about one activity a day, and I've got a few of those listed there. And then the rest of the time is just going to be R&R time back at the hotel. And there's a grocery store right across the street, so every couple of days we'll make a run over there for anybody that wants to go over and stock up on a few groceries or whatever. We'll plan to eat at least one meal out a day, and then breakfast, we'll have that every morning. There's a little cafe right next to the hotel, and we'll include that in. Some of the things we're going to do, one day we're going to go up to St. Augustine and tour up there, the beautiful old French settlement up there, and do a step-on guided tour there. We're going down to Kennedy Space Center. We're going to go down into the Central Everglades, and we're going to do an airboat ride where it takes you back into the Central Everglades, and you'll see numerous alligators out sunning themselves. In the wintertime in Florida, on the west coast mainly, the manatees come in, and they kind of hibernate in these backwaters. And we're going to go out and we're going to see them. We'll have a riverboat ride out there. If any of you are race car fans like Jim and I are, we're going to go out to the Daytona Speedway one day, and should get to ride around the track. If it's not busy, you'll get to see all the back stuff there. So again, this is a fun trip. I do want to stress that this is one of those that I know is going to fill up fast. I just had this out a couple weeks at the most, and we've already got 3 people on it. And like I said, I'm only going to be able to take about 11 or 12 the most. So if you're thinking on this, please don't wait too long to get signed up.
I chuckle. They say the 3rd time's a charm. Well, this is the 4th time for Australia. How many times have you heard me talk about Australia, New Zealand? Many, many times, I'm sure. Bucket list destination again for us. One more continent down. April 15th to May 14th. We're going to do 30 days in Australia, flying again right out of Des Moines. The good thing about this, one of the many good things about this, is that we still have 2019 pricing, which is absolutely unheard of in this day and age, the way everything's gone up, because of the fact that it has had to roll over. And Rhonda was very good on keeping the contract with us. We have 2019 pricing. We also have $500 off. This includes all of your air out of Des Moines. It includes your internal air. As we're going, we are going to do cons for the Great Barrier Reef, the Rainforest Sky Rail, of course, Ayers Rock or Luru. I'm going to ride a camel. I already have my extra thing booked. I'm going to ride that camel if it kills me. The first thing in the morning around Ayers Rock. We'll do Melbourne, a great Victorian city with a city tour and Fitzroy Gardens there. Phillip Island for the Koala Conservatory. Then down to Hobart, Tasmania. You can't go to Australia unless you go to Tasmania. You have to see a Tasmanian devil when you're down there. That Port Arthur historic site with the Archdevil's Kitchen, the blowheads down there. Sydney, of course, for the Opera House. We'll do a tour of the Opera House. You'll have a chance, if you'd like, to book an extra and do a performance there, if you'd like that evening. Be the Harbor, the Rocks, their Botanic Gardens in Sydney, unbelievable. Then on to both islands in New Zealand. We are going to do both the North and South Island in New Zealand with this. We'll do Queenstown for a cruise on Milford Sound, Mount Cook National Park, of course, for the beauty there, Christchurch, the Garden City. We'll sail across Cook Strait. That's been dubbed the most beautiful ferry ride in the world, going across Cook Strait. So we're going to do that. Wellington for St. Paul's Church. They also have the oldest wooden building in the Southern Hemisphere in Wellington. We'll see that. We'll do Rotorua for the geothermal, the Maori culture down there. We're going to have about 3 days in the majority of these major cities. So with it, yes, it's a lengthy tour. I'm a firm believer if I'm going to fly that long, I'm going to see everything I'm going to see. We're only going once, so we're going to see as much as we can see in the time. In each of those major cities, you're going to have an extra day just to kind of unwind, relax, do as much as you want or as little as you want to catch up on everything. We will go then, after we do New Zealand, we are flying back and going to do 3 days relaxing in Fiji. So again, a chance to unwind, kind of break that trip up home and do 3 days in Fiji. So great price, 2019 price, $500 off. If you've ever wanted to go to Australia, New Zealand, it's definitely the time to go.
Okay, and here's not a new one. Some of you in here went with Jim and I here just a couple months ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. We did a Mississippi Riverboat Cruise where we flew to Memphis, and then we cruised on the American Queen from Memphis down to New Orleans. It was a 8-day cruise. Loads of fun, very, very relaxing. I tell you, riverboat cruising, that was my first experience at riverboat cruising. I'm spoiled, guys. It's fantastic. Anyway, so we're going to do another one next year, June 11th to the 19th. We're going to we're going out into the Oregon and Washington area, and we're going to do the Columbia Snake River Riverboat Cruise. This is a 9-day cruise. Again, we'll fly you nonstop. Again, like we did here last time, we'll pick you up in Fort Dodge, take you up to Minneapolis. We'll stay over in Minneapolis, depending on the flight times. And then we will go from there, fly nonstop out to Portland, Oregon, which is just a jump from Spokane, Washington. No, yeah, I think I'm right. Anyway, and then we'll cruise Columbia and the Snake, and then fly back home on the other side 8 days later. Again, this is one, like Marlia talked, if there's 2 of us or if there's, 15 of us, we're going to go. And so the pricing on this, it hasn't come out yet due to the fact that Rhonda can't get airfare just yet. But July probably? And she said end of July, she'll probably have airfare. So then we'll have pricing for that. But again, the Empress, is that what it is? Yeah, the Empress is what we're going on, which is a sister riverboat of the American Queen. And this ship, our American Queen, held 440 some passengers. This one's half the size. This one holds 220 some. So we have the spots, the rooms and all our reservations made for it already. However, again, this is the first come, first serve thing, because if we get into where we got too many, or we don't have enough, we have a few, but not enough, we'll still always go. But the American Empress, if they need the seats, they can call around and say, hey, we need some of your seats that aren't booked already, and they can take them away from us. So again, it's one of these early first come, first served. On this trip, if you are at all interested, please let me know. We'll get you on the list, and as soon as we have information on it, I will send you, Rhonda, or I will send you information on it as soon as we have pricing on it. But we're going to do things like we're going to go out and visit Mount St. Helen. We're going to visit the Multnomah Falls. We're going down on a scenic jet boat ride down through Hell's Canyon, and going down through the Columbia River Gorge, which is absolutely beautiful. So, and again, riverboat cruising, if you've never done it, it's great. It's super, super relaxing. Each night they still have, just like in the big cruise ships, they have shows each night on there. Your dining is all on there, just like your cruise ships. So yeah, it's a pretty cool way to go.
Okay, the National Shrines of Wisconsin, this is one we're working on. We don't have a price for it yet. Basically, it's in the Milwaukee and Green Bay areas, in case you're wondering where. We'd be going up to the National Shrine Mary Help of Christians, which is on a hilltop. It's a beautiful shrine there. There's a rosary walk, outdoor stations of the cross, beautiful gardens up there. Then in Milwaukee, we would go over to one of the things we're going to go see is the St. Joan of Arc Chapel at Marquette University. This chapel was built in France, and then they brought it over here and put it on Marquette's campus. So it'd be interesting to see different basilicas there. Head up towards and do some of the Pabst Brewery, those types of things in and around the Milwaukee area. Those. Head up towards Green Bay, just outside of Green Bay. There's the National Shrine of Our Lady of Good Help. It's an approved Marian apparition site in the United States. Blessed Mother appeared there in 1859, and one of the major miracles, if you want to call it that, happened in 1871 in that area. It was called Peshtigo, Wisconsin. There was a huge, huge wildfire, just destroyed acres and acres and villages and towns. And the people in the area all ran to the shrine and the chapel. And that's the only thing in the area that did not burn, was the shrine and the chapel. So those are some of the highlights of what we would be seeing up there. And this will be sometime next summer. Haven't got the dates set exactly. Working on details, finding out, places don't have help yet. So you have to work out the details around when they think they might have help in that. But so this would be the Marian Shrines in Wisconsin next summer.
For all your good Scandinavians out there, we're going to do Nordic Adventure. Again, one we've been kind of looking for, because most of them only do 3 countries. We're doing 4 countries: Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Finland with this one as we go in. We're going to do 16 cities with it. We will ferry from Copenhagen into Stockholm. We'll have an overnight cruise into Helsinki. We're going to taste reindeer in the Arctic Circle and finish Lapland. We're going to visit Santa's hometown. In Alta, Norway, we're going to see the beautiful Northern Lights Cathedral. We're going to cross the Arctic Circle several times. We will drive the Blood Road, which was built by prisoners of World War II. Visit the 12th century Stave Church. We'll see the site of the 1994 Olympics in Lillehammer. And lots of optional tours on this. This is one of the first ones that we've ever done that we are going to be giving it to you with the price on the tour with air additional. It is something we don't do. But as we know, most of us all like to know where our budgets are. And when we're looking this far out, we want to be sure that you've got the base price on it. So pricing on this will be coming out soon with the brochures. They should be arriving any day. And then it will be air additional once we go. And we know exactly what that air is coming sooner on it. So Nordic Adventure, it's going to be a fun time. 16 cities. We're going to cross that Arctic Circle several times.
And then, as I mentioned earlier, this is again is next summer, and I'm gonna talk faster because I don't want to bore you guys. But I always try and do Mackinac Island every year, like I said earlier. And next summer, I'm gonna do the Circle, Michigan. So we'll take in Mackinac Island, a couple days there, spend right on the island. But we're gonna go out into places like Holland, Michigan, and just take in some of the rest of the fun things around the state. So I don't have details on that yet, but we'll have late this year. And then this one was held over. I originally had this plan for the summer or fall of 2020 when COVID hit. We had to postpone it. I wasn't able to work it in this year. So next year we're going to do this one. I'm going down into the Ozark Mountains. Beautiful time of year to go down there. Going to go down to Eureka Springs, Arkansas, which I'm sure several of you have been. We're going to do the outdoor passion play. We're going to come back up through, spend a couple of days down there. We'll do one night in Branson, see a show there. And then we'll come back up through the Lake of the Ozarks and do a cruise there one night. While we're down in the Eureka Springs area, we're going to do a train ride back into the mountains. So again, this will be a fun one. And I should have stuff on this probably early next year. And then this is another new one. In September of 2023 for next year, I'm going to do a country trip down there where we're going to go down and pay tribute to some, if you're a country music fan, we're just going to go down and pay tribute to some of the great country legends. We'll be going to Loretta Lynn's ranch. We'll visit Johnny Cash's boyhood home and just take in a lot of fun things there. We'll probably go to Nashville and do the Opry one night as well. But just a lot of fun, different country things on that one. We're going to take in some bluegrass. If you're a bluegrass fan, we're going to go over into the Owensboro, Kentucky area and take in some bluegrass music there.
September of 23, we're going to start fall in Eastern Canada. We did the Western States and Canadian Rockies. Now we're going to go east and do Nova Scotia and Canada's Maritimes. So we'll pick up 4 of their provinces this time: Nova Scotia, Cape Breton Island, New Brunswick, and PEI, Prince Edward Island. So we'll have 4 of the 13 provinces of Canada picked up in this trip. We'll do a couple ferry rides across. We'll do the Bay of Fundy. We'll do the Anna Green Gables house. Let me see, drive the Cabot Trail, which is gorgeous. We'll do the Grand Prix Historic Site, which is the site of a 12th century Acadian village. And just look at the beauty in the trees up there in Eastern Canada and the Maritimes.
Okay, and then the Great Southwest. We're going to do this again next year. Again, this is one we're going to do. I think it was last year and or the year before, and due to COVID, we had to cancel it. We're going out to do the Grand Canyon. We'll take a train ride to the canyon from Williams, Arizona. We're going to visit Bryce Canyon, which is right there. You get to see all the hoodoo rocks. We're going to Antelope Canyon, which is a hidden dream. You know, more people haven't discovered that. If you've been there before, you realize what an awesome, awesome place that is. We're going to go down through Oklahoma on our way down and do some fun Route 66 stuff and just a lot more stuff. So again, that's October of 2023. And then we'll do our usual Branson Christmas next year, like I do usually the first week in November. And then I'm going to do Smoky Mountain Christmas next year. It'll be about the first week in December. We'll go down to Dollywood and visit, obviously, the Smoky Mountains, do a tour through there, and go to Pigeon Forge and just have a good time. So, again, that's Smoky Mountains, early December of 2023.
I could have finished it up, and let's think 2 years out. January of 24, continent number 7 on that bucket list for those of you that have traveled. Get it out. We are going to do South America and Antarctica. You'll be on Holland's Oosterdam, Buenos Aires, Argentina to Santiago, Chile, which will bring us down. If you can see kind of the chart up there, what it does is it starts you here and brings you down around the tip, Antarctica here, and then back up this direction. So we will have 4 days, weather permitting, cruising all the bays of Antarctica. We'll do Drake Passage, the Strait of Magellan, the Chilean Fords, the Falkland Islands, Stanley. Lots of fun things. That area that as we come around the point is Patagonia. So you can also mark 4th area off for Patagonia. That's equally owned by Argentina and Chile. But as you come around there, you're going to have Patagonia also on it. This is another that we are going to have priced. We have cabins held already and have bookings on it. We're going to have it priced out for you again with air because we're that far out. But I do know that you want to be able to plan and look at your budgets on it. But if you're thinking about picking up one of those continents, especially that's a little hard to get to, think about doing South America and Antarctica with us.
And then I just want to mention, if any of you had seen a previous listing of our tours, in late September, early October, we were planning to do the annual Buffalo Roundup tour, but I didn't have enough time to get that put together for this year. So we will roll that into and offer that in late September of 2023. So I just wanted to mention that. I have had a couple people call on it wondering what happened when I had Rachel update that and take it out for this year. But so we'd like to let you know that if you are interested in booking any tours today or by May 25th, you'll get an extra $25 off for attending the show. And if you have any questions on the tours, the tour guides are here today. They'd be happy to talk with you. And we do want to draw for our little.
Yeah, why don't you mention, like, especially in hers and mine, any of the 2023s that aren't out, if they think they might be interested, to let us know and we'll write their name down.
Yeah, if you're interested in any of the tours that we don't have pricing on just yet, let us know. We'll write it down and be sure you get all the discounts available at the time the pricing
And we'll send
does
them.
come out.
We'll send you the information sheet.
Yep. Yeah.
Rachel doesn't get to do anything but just change techie things, so she can do this today.
Shelley Parker.
We're new best friends.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming out today and joining us. And feel free to have more lemonade, water, cookies, and yes, kisses. Definitely. We didn't make the coffee today because we thought with the warm temperatures it might not be as refreshing. So, but thanks again for coming out, and we'll look forward to having you join us on some of these tours.